What is up? What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome in. And for the first time in 2024, we are going to discuss a Seattle Mariners victory. Anytime your team can win a game, football, basketball, baseball, hockey, it feels good. So it is going to be nice to break down the first win of the 2024 season. But first, before I do anything, I've got to thank all of you. My video last night, 1,500 views, about 50 subscribers from that video. All the kind comments, the likes, the thumbs ups. I guess likes and thumbs ups are the same thing, but throw them all in there. Cannot tell you guys how much that means to me. So thank you so much to everybody that watched, everybody that subbed last night, everybody that's been subbed with me before. And we're going to go on this journey together through 162 and hopefully even more than 162. Hopefully, minimum, let's see, 164. I don't know, 175, 180, something like that. And the Mariners hoist up the World Series trophy. But thank you guys so much. I've got some stuff I'm going to roll out next week. The live streams are going to be back. Live streams for everybody. There's going to be some members live streams. I'll have all that information out for you guys next week. So just be on the lookout for that as we're really going to get the ball rolling here for 2024. Last shameless plug before we get into the game is if you're going to T-Mobile this weekend, maybe to catch the Mariners Red Sox, maybe Mariners Guardians next week, maybe you're going to the Kraken game, maybe you just want to go, maybe you're in another state and you want to go to a game, download the SeatGeek app or go to their website and use promo code JS Trident. You see it there down in the little box down below. Use that promo code for $20 off your next purchase. And remember, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button and please hit the like button. That all helps me out tremendously as I continue to grow my channel, and I hope you enjoy these recaps. Mariners win 1-0, and one is enough. Wow, 1-0. J.P. Crawford solo home run, and George Kirby truly in Cy Young form in his first start of the season. So let's go ahead and start there and break it down. Let me pull up the box score real quick. As the Mariners improved to 1-1, and that 161-1 dream is still alive for the Mariners. Kirby goes 6 2/3, only gives up 2 hits, 2 walks, which were both within the first 3 batters of the game. He walked Duran and then walked Yoshida in the first inning. So kind of a odd start for George Kirby, who is usually exceptional with his exceptional with his control and command. Walks 2 of the first 3 batters he faces, but settles in after that, finishes with just the 2 walks and 8 strikeouts. Kirby looked absolutely phenomenal. And listen, the name of the game for this Mariners team is going to be pitching. I like the offense. I think it's going to be pretty good this year, today notwithstanding. But at the end of the day, this team is going to be carried by its pitching staff. Castillo didn't bring his A game yesterday. It's okay. It's going to happen. Guys can't have their A game every single start. But George Kirby absolutely brought his A game today. And one of the reasons I'm really, really optimistic about this team is I do think you have 3 pitchers that could legitimately end up in Cy Young conversations with Castillo, Kirby, and Logan Gilbert going tomorrow night. So George Kirby showed us why tonight that we think he can be in that Cy Young running. A little surprised, actually, that Scott Service sent him out for the 7th inning. I will say this, if Brash, Santos were healthy, I think Kirby's pulled after 6. He finishes with how many pitches? 99 for just his first start of the year. A little surprising to see Scott have George go that high in a pitch count. I'm fine with it. I have no problem with that whatsoever to keep Kirby in there. And he was phenomenal in that 7th inning. I know he was a little upset, was 1 out, 1 strike away from getting out of that 7th. And Rafaela just put barrel on ball, found a little hole out there. And that unfortunately ended the night for George Kirby. So he couldn't go 7 strong. But does give an exceptional, there we go, I used it right that time, 6 2/3 performance with only 2 hits given up. And like I said, one of the hits was that little blooper by Rafaela. I don't know who had the other hit off of him. Red Sox had 4 hits total, so I'm not sure who had the other one off of Kirby. But yeah, and then the 8 strikeouts. So absolutely phenomenal Cy Young level performance from George Kirby tonight. Luis Castillo is going to be fine. He'll get things sorted out. And then we got Logan on the mound tomorrow night. Gabe Spire came in that 7th inning to replace Kirby. He gave up a hit, but then got the strikeout of, I think Bobby Dahlback came in and pinched hit. Or did Dahlback start the game? Let's see. Yeah, Dahlback did start at third base. So Spire gets that strikeout of Dahlback. Good to see Gabe Spire back out there, his first appearance of the season. Spire was a huge part of the success of last year's team when they did have success. I know we wouldn't call it a successful season overall, but when the team did have success, Spire was a huge part of that. Spire, Topa, Saucedo last year, kind of coming up and being the new guys in the bullpen after what we saw in 2022, inspire right back to form so far here in 2024. So really good to see. Ryan Stanek came in to start the eighth. Little shaky, quick walk to the first batter he faced, settled in. The fastball command was just not there at all. Started throwing that splitter, and almost looks, yeah, kind of like a splitter change type thing. And that started looking really good. Got a strikeout, got a pop up. So settled in a little bit, um, and then gave up a hit to put runners at the corners. So Stanek, here's my thing, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday. I am worried about the bullpen. Not necessarily that I'm like they did the job today. I mean, they ended up getting 7 outs, didn't allow runs, so they got the job done. But Ryan Stanek as the eighth inning guy is going to be a little bit of you're going to have to push through it, right? And I don't think Ryan Stanek's bad. You saw some of the good, right? That splitter looked nasty. Once the fastball command settled in a little bit, I thought he was fine. I honestly thought he was fine. It was just the first batter, couldn't find the zone right away. And listen, first batter he faced all season. I'm not going to lose too much sleep over that. But definitely, I think we'd all have a little more confidence if Brash and Santos were coming in there. And I actually, again, I'll go back. I think that's why Kirby went out for the seventh. So it's going to be really interesting how Scott manages this bullpen and his starting pitchers until you can get those two guys back. And then Andres Munoz gets a 4-out save, which is almost unheard of for the second game of the season. Munoz phenomenal, an inning and a third, no hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Got a little help from the home plate umpire there in the ninth with his strikeout that he got on, I think it was Tristan Casas that he struck out. I will say this. Well, I do think those last 2 pitches were balls. They were low that Munoz threw. He hit his spot perfectly. And it goes to show if you can hit your spot, you will get calls sometimes, right? Because it looks good to umpires. Cal set up, bottom of the zone. Munoz hit it dead on. So to the home plate umpire, it looks like a great pitch. They were balls, right? And that should have been a ball, and Casas should have been on first. I'm not going to stand here and if I was a Sox fan or if it was reversed, I'd be complaining that the Mariners didn't get a call. So I'm certainly not trying to justify bad calls. But when you hit your spots, good things can happen as a pitcher. Munoz was hitting 99. The fastball velocity was there. The slider looked a little bit better. Obviously, in 2022, that slider was one of the most devastating pitches in baseball. And the fastball, the velocity was there in 22, but it really wasn't a great pitch for him. Now, last year, the fastball was better, and it looked like he just never really found a feel for that slider at times. So hopefully Munoz is getting that back. And remember, he battled some injuries last year too. And Munoz was not poor last year at all. He was not a bad pitcher, but not quite as electric as 2022. And with Brash and Santos being out, if you can get more of that 2022 Andres Munoz, that's going to go a long way for this ball club, especially here in April. So really going to be curious how Scott manages this. You're fortunate you've got a great starting pitching staff that can go deep into games if need be. But normally in April, like I said, I don't think Kirby goes back out there if this bullpen is 100% healthy. I think they take him out after 6, but I think with just not a lot of faith in some of the guys. Shouldn't say not a lot of faith, but just new faces, right? Like Ryan Stanek has had success in this league, but he's not Brash or Munoz. Trent Thornton's been, I think Trent Thornton's solid, but he gives up some home runs. Spire's there. He'll be relied upon as well. In fact, I wouldn't be shocked if Spire's probably your next up in the 9th inning, maybe even tomorrow if Munoz is down. And I would imagine Munoz gets tomorrow off. So it'll be really, really interesting if it's a close game to see what they do. You still got Colin Snyder out there who hasn't pitched yet as well. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a battle, I think, for this bullpen through the first month. It would definitely behoove the Mariners to win some games by multiple runs or get some multiple run leads. And again, I don't look at this pen right now and say, oh my gosh, I think it's awful. You've got Andres Munoz, that alone. elevates it. Gabe Spire's really good. Sauceo's someone you can rely on. And I even think, like I said, I think Trent Thornton's fine. I think Stanek's going to be fine, but you don't have those lights out guys with Brash and Santos being out outside of Munoz. So I thought Scott did fine. I thought he managed it perfectly. I liked Kirby going back out there. I think at that point, even though the Rafaela hit wasn't anything that like would make you go, oh, we've got to take him out. It was a bloop hit. I think at 99 pitches in his first start this year, you've got to be a little bit careful. So I think I thought Scott did the right thing in all those instances. I'm sure Scott's hope was probably after the eighth inning that the Mariners could add on 2 or 3 runs, go up 3-4-0, and then he'd go to Trent Thornton, and that would allow Munoz to be available tomorrow. But it didn't happen. Mariners did not add on. Munoz gets the 4-out save, and the rest is history. The strength of this team is pitching, and it will continue to be throughout the season. Let's look at the lineup today. Not much to talk about. 4 hits, 2 walks, 14 strikeouts, only 1 extra base hit. We'll get into that, and we'll get into it right away. J.P. Crawford, 1 for 3 with a home run and a walk. Good to see the power there for JP, the game-winning home run I think he hit in the 6th inning. Yeah, it was in the bottom of the 6th off Nick Pivetta. Pivetta looked really good. His stuff looked solid. So if anybody's wondering, Jay, are you worried about the offense? Not after 2 games. Now, there are guys that I think have legitimate worries. Like, I'm not super confident Luis Urias is going to be good. I'm a Dom Canzone believer, but I got to see it first, right? You know what I mean? And same with some other guys too. So while I do believe in this offense, I do certainly understand some reasons to be frustrated, or to be maybe not frustrated, but slightly more pessimistic maybe than someone like me is about this offense. But it's 2 games. I literally am not going to spend any time going, wow, is this just not going to be a good offense in 2024? It might not be. I don't know, right? Like, it's very possible it's not, but it's not. If it is bad, it's not going to be because the first 2 games or because today was a struggle. Pivetta was sharp. His stuff looked good. And sometimes, you just don't muster up a lot of offense. There's going to be days where the pitching struggles and the offense scores 13 or 14. That's baseball. We've played 2 games. Nothing should be determined by this team after 2 games. We shouldn't be reading anything into it. These guys have had 6 or 7 at-bats. But good to see from JP, who has hit the ball pretty hard so far this year. You can still see the approach is still solid, able to draw his walks and get on base as usual. So JP with a walk today. Didn't get a walk yesterday, but had a couple 3-ball counts and should have walked, but a missed call last night cost him a walk. And then that power, which we saw a little bit last year displayed, or I should say a lot, with the 19 home runs. So good to see JP Crawford picking up where he left off. And that JP was kind of one of the guys that I didn't know about for 24. Like, and I still don't, right? Again, 2 games into it. But would JP be able to keep up what he did in 2023? I'm like I said, I'm very optimistic on the team, but that was definitely a question mark I've had a little bit. Not that I think JP was going to be a bad player, but if we want this team to reach its goal, the ultimate goal, you're going to need him to be 2023 JP. So, so far, so good on that for JP Crawford. Julio was 1 for 3 with a walk, a little base knock that dropped in, and then he had the walk in the 8th inning, which I thought was a good at bat. Polanco 0 for 4. He stung that ball in the bottom of the 8th, right into Tristan Casas's glove. That happens. Exit velo of almost 100, I think, on that. It is what it is. You hit that 2 feet to the left, 2 feet to the right, and it's a bases clearing double, and Munoz probably doesn't come back out for the 9th. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Mitch Haniger was 0 for 3. Cal's 0 for 3. Ty France had a hit. He was 1 for 3. Canzone, Urias 0 for 3. And then Luke Raley had a base hit in his first start. I should also mention that Mitch Garver was scratched from the lineup. He was originally in his DH, but had back spasms and was scratched. He's listed as day-to-day. So wouldn't be shocked if he's out tomorrow, but hopefully back by Sunday. And if not, Mitch Garver back in there Monday. And again, in April, no reason to push that. Maybe that's something in September, October. If you're playing meaningful baseball, you may try and push through something like that, but not in April. So, give Mitch Garver the day off there. And good to get Mitch Haniger some DH at-bats too. The key is to keep Mitch Haniger healthy. And if you can limit his time in the outfield, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. for this ball club. So I have no problem with Mitch, late at night, getting some DH at bats there as well. And I expect he'll get some more as the year goes on. So, listen, you score one run, there's not much to talk about offensively. Really not a lot of hard hit balls. Maybe the only one that I go, ooh, was that Polanco one that was into the glove of Casas. But other than that, I mean, certainly a weak offensive performance. But if you're looking for me to go into like breakdowns of things, I didn't mention this yesterday. I talked about it a bit last year. I usually give it about a month. I need a month of data to kind of see how these guys are doing. Now, listen, if the Mariners are 4-18 in April, I'm not sitting there saying like, oh, well, we just got to be patient. Like that's a disaster. You can't have stuff like that happen. Um, but just in terms of guys' performances, every single player on this team is a 4-for-4 tomorrow night away from leading the league in OPS. So nothing to be too concerned about. Urias getting the start at third base over Rojas, I think is just, early in the season, I always find it, I think it's smart to get everybody a start early on when you can. Keep them fresh. So I have no problem with Urias getting the start over Josh Rojas there. Wouldn't be shocked if we saw Zavala get a start tomorrow night or, maybe Sunday at least. He'll get a start. So I have no problem with Scott doing that. I think early in the year it is important to kind of mix guys in, get everybody a few at bats, just to help this ball club and keep everybody fresh as much as possible. Mariners haven't played yet this year. We haven't seen Zavala. Is he the only hitter we haven't seen yet? Dylan Moore's obviously played. He had the home run last night. Luke Raley's played now. Garver missed today, but he's played. And then pitching, Trent Thornton hasn't pitched yet. Colin Snyder hasn't pitched yet. And unless I'm missing someone, well, and then obviously the starters, right? Hancock, Miller, and Gilbert haven't pitched yet either. They'll get their playing time here in the next few days, but I think that's it. Let me know if I'm missing anybody in the comments down below. But Mariners get their first win of the year. And let me tell you something, guys. It's okay to be excited about a win. Never, ever feel guilty about enjoying your team winning a game. And I say that regardless of a team's record. If your team is 31-68 and they win and you're happy, be happy about it. It's okay. You don't have to be miserable 24/7. I promise, guys. And I'm not calling anybody out in particular. Sometimes I have to remind myself of that. I'm sitting there going, oh, I'm watching the game going, oh, where's the offense? I'm like, Jay, they won. They got that W. They're 1-1. They didn't need to win this game, but they got a dub. It's the first of the year. Let's be happy. Let's enjoy it because winning is better than losing. It's a simple statement, but it's darn true. So enjoy the win, guys. The Mariners are 1-1. You got Logan on the hill tomorrow. Hopefully a chance to get this team over 500. And listen, while I wouldn't be doom and gloom had they lost this game, it's 2. It would be very nice for the Mariners to finally get off to like a good start. They always seem to get out of the gate sluggish. It would be really nice to see this team. And I'm not talking like, 23-7, but late at night. But like, it wouldn't kill this team to be 17-13, something like that, through 30 games. It would feel very nice to have this team playing much better baseball early on. So this was step one. George Kirby in Cy Young form tonight. This pitching staff is insanely good. It is going to carry this team, and I hope to a division title. Bullpen survival, right? As much as I just said I'm a little bit worried, this was their first game. Can this bullpen survive without Brash and Santos? You know what? It wasn't always pretty, at least with Stanek, I guess. Spire and Munoz were great. And they survived it. That's one. They got one without those guys. So hopefully they can keep those vibes going, and hopefully we get another W tomorrow. Remember to hit that like button, hit subscribe if you're new here. Use my promo code if you're going to the games, and I will be back tomorrow night with another Mariners post-game recap. Like I said, I'm going to be here for all 162, guys. So just hit that sub button. Let's go on this journey together, and we are going to have a lot of fun this season. And also, too, I do my best to, give you guys support in the comment sections, respond, thumbs them up when I can. I've got an early morning tomorrow, so if I don't, I just want to let you guys know, if I don't hit that like button on it or hard at tonight. Nothing personal. I might just be asleep. So, nothing personal to that at all, as my camera just went there it goes, coming back, but moving around too much. Have a great night, everybody. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. I'll be back tomorrow night and maybe Sunday a live stream. We might have our first live stream of the year Sunday. Go Mariners. Take care, everybody. Peace.